smart enough to weaponize a fucking mineral like that. Like what the fuck?
Put it in a fucking spear, dog, and
you made a fucking spear, fool.
There you go. Alrighty, guys, welcome back to Epic Minds Podcast. We're live.
Part 2.
We got Edgar still in the house. We got Junior Leo's in the house.
Woo!
We got Nate the Informant in the house.
Nate.
We're missing a couple of people from our previous episode. Josue should be on his way back, though.
He should.
And then Fabian, I don't know. I think Fabian's drunk right now.
He's somewhere out there.
Just to let you guys know, we're all, with the exception of Nate, because Nate doesn't fucking drink.
He don't.
He's weird.
We're pretty good.
But we've all had a couple of drinks in us.
We're tipsy.
I had more than a couple.
So if we slur, don't judge us. You guys are probably doing the same shit right now, too.
Yeah, they're probably fucked up listening to us right now. Yeah, motherfucking.
With that being said, guys, we're going to go into this. What the fuck were we going to talk about?
Well, what about the Houston massacre?
Dallas
massacre.
The Dallas one?
We gave our opinions. Now we have Leo to give his opinion.
Okay,
I have you know what?
Here's your
compared to what
opinion.
Nate had, I have a way different opinion, and mine basically goes back to it was about to happen. It was bound to happen. It's bound to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is because with the whole thing with Rodney King, since then we have not seen anything happen to these cops that fucking do that shit, right? So what the fuck are we supposed to do about it? You know, like at some point, there was gonna be something like this that happened. And I told my parents, I told this guy, I told Nate, I told him, like, you know what, I don't feel bad about it. Yeah, these people, these cops were probably innocent cops that aren't probably bad cops or whatever. But at the same time, they are in a system which is the police system, in which they did not fucking go against and rebel against the bad cops. So why the fuck are they staying quiet all this time? Why were they staying quiet? We don't know. But there was this thing that I saw as far as a video where this girl was interviewing a bunch of different cops, and each one of these cops are all considered minorities, black, Mexicans, Hawaiian, like all types of minorities. They were basically saying that the fucking police force gives them a quota, and if they don't meet that quota of arrests, that at some point they were getting punished because of that. They were getting punished because of the quota not being met. And the quota specifically, what these guys are saying, was arrests. So doesn't matter what the fuck happened, as long as you didn't get the amount of arrests that they wanted you to get, like, you're gonna get fucking. So generally, these cops, knowing that, and barely just after this fucking massacre happened, now they're saying something, and that's because they're afraid of their lives. They're scared that at this point it's gone too fucking far, and now the people, as far as millions compared to, you know, the people that are the police commissioners and shit, which is just one person, are now pissed off at the police force. So what does that fucking tell you? Is that at some point there was going to be a rebellion. Now it's starting, and they are scared. So it's not really anything that they should have not expected. It was actually gonna happen. It was bound to happen. They just didn't think it was going to be this bad.
I think that's exactly what I said yesterday. It was gonna happen. Like, you can't expect somebody to attack another person or another race in this case, and that race not retaliate at one point in time. You just couldn't expect it. It's like I kept saying, if you go into my neighborhood and starting some shit, my neighborhood's gonna retaliate. You ain't gonna fucking come in here and start some shit and not think that somebody's not gonna do something about it, say something about it.
Right.
So I agree with you. It was gonna happen, regardless. You fucking shoot one of ours, we're gonna shoot 5 of yours. That's basically what ended up happening.
So my prediction, as far as after this shit happening, is that it's probably gonna happen again. It probably is gonna happen. Who knows where the fuck it's gonna happen? It could happen anywhere. It's gonna happen again,
Ladies.
What's gonna happen?
Silent Bob are in the hizzos.
We don't edit nothing, folks.
I mean, it's just Caesar. We got Caesar coming in the house in the podcast live.
Got Dirty Dick coming in.
Low-key, I think I got a booty rash.
Booty rash.
That's Caesar right there, guys.
Yeah.
You need some baby powder for that ass.
I let my cousin shoot me. Oh, my cousin Ricky. I let him shoot me with a paintball gun earlier this week.
In your ass.
No, on my chest. I got like 4.
So wait,
I got-
how did the shooting go from your chest to you having a booty rash?
You got a rash because you were playing paintball, is what you're saying?
I'm not sure. It probably is, or probably because I was sitting somewhere over here with the spiders.
So a spider gave you a booty rash?
Alright.
Probably.
All right, back to the topic.
So basically, what's gonna happen? My prediction is that there's gonna be another shooting, and at some point there is gonna be a what's considered a civil war type thing.
That sounds like a motherfucking paintball.
That's painful. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
painful.
I remember that shit.
That's definitely painful.
But I got these in jail though.
There's gonna be some kind of civil war shit that's gonna happen, and we're gonna go into martial law. I feel
Hey,
like
who's
that
in
is
this?
the next step. That's actually what's trying to happen. The reason why I'm saying that is because I've been seeing a lot of videos about these politicians, senators and shit, all saying the same shit, which is basically that there is not going to be another presidential election. And I'm thinking, how the fuck is that going to happen? Like, how is there not going to be another presidential election? And these guys are saying that if there is a crisis, if the country is in a state of crisis, that the acting president, which is Obama right now, that he can actually call off the election because of that crisis. And a civil war will enact that fucking martial law, and that is considered a crisis at that point. So that's probably going to happen. Those are my thoughts. And that's considering the fact that there are more fucking deaths. Police deaths and shit. I don't know.
Alright. What you gotta add on to that, Nate?
Well, you told
Nate
me.
doesn't believe that shit.
I mean, I'll give my input. I mean, we went back to this before.
We went back into this before yesterday. We actually talked about
Well,
this.
we talked about it. And you know what? I kind of pinpoint with Leo because I brought it up.
Yeah.
I mean, you were bound to happen. I mean, you're looking back to Rodney King and Malcolm Middle. I mean, they've been.
Malcolm Middle?
Malcolm in the middle, motherfucker.
Hey, you know what? I honestly, I apologize because I know some people take that offensive, but it's Malcolm X. Like we said, we've been drinking, so I apologize, but you know my point. But back to the point. I mean, we see the struggles. I mean, how do you not expect after generation somebody's not gonna really take it personal? I mean, there's some of these kids that grow up to be the way they are is because they come from deep roots of their roots, you know. I mean, the person that did the shooting, how do you not know that their parents brought them up to be the way they grew up, following the Rodney King movement? So I mean, if you're born and you're raised to be a certain way, how do you expect people not to act? Because I mean, we do got tradition coming back to
I'm
it.
gonna stop you right there, dude. I don't believe in that shit. That you grow up the way you were raised.
No.
Like, no.
I mean,
You choose it.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's your life.
I mean, okay, but how many? You really
All right,
you
hold
choose
on.
it because I mean, it depends on how you were raised.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It has nothing to do with that.
Doesn't.
You choose the way you're gonna continue your life.
So what happened with the DC shooting?
What happened with it? The father and son?
Yeah, well
Those
that's
fucking idiots.
No, why? Because the first one he was manipulating. He had to fucking manipulate. When you're in a military state, you can manipulate people, and you're learning to do that.
And the son was
and-
choosing to be in that position.
He's
Dude,
young.
that's like, no, it's not that, dude. It's you.
If you give somebody a pride right now, at your young age, what is your pride?
What
I
are
mean,
you talking
grow-
about
grow-
pride? Where are you going with this? You're
All right,
talking
because
about pride. You're talking about growing up.
All right, because
But that's not making any sense.
All right,
because
no,
You
because-
choose what you're
No.
gonna go into.
Okay, yeah, because look, all right. Coming from where he was coming from, he was abandoned by his mom. He already had hatred growing up.
Okay, so you're saying that because one person got abandoned by their mom, you mean to tell me 1,000 other kids that were abandoned by their mom or dad are gonna end up doing the same thing?
No, but what?
Okay,
All right.
dude, then your point is not making
Okay,
sense.
so what makes you think like 100 kids that go through that? What makes you think one kid's not gonna come out to be the opposite?
But dude, you're generalizing everybody into that category.
No, I'm just talking about like I mean, the DC shooting. Who did it?
a father and son.
All right, and then the Dallas.
One man.
One man. All it takes, that's what I'm talking about, is all it takes is that one man to come back from
But you're
Bruce.
saying the roots of him. You don't know if he was a fatherless
Okay, but
son
what
or
makes
a
you think?
motherless son.
All right, but what makes you think he was not one of the hundreds that actually snapped?
But what makes you think he was fatherless or motherless? You're
We don't know.
categorizing it,
No, but we're talking about the generation that's coming back.
bro. But what
makes
are
you
you
think
saying
one of
though?
that
Because
I'm
you're
ba-
saying that you went
I'm
from
putting.
being fatherless, motherless,
No, I'm
to
telling you
being
how.
manipulated.
Okay,
and
yeah,
you're
but
not
in the
choosing your own
sense,
life.
in the sense to being affected by it, what decisions do you make? And as we've seen the DC shooting, he decided to be a killer. Why? Because he was weak-minded. I'll say that much. I mean, you do choose your own how you grow
There
to
you
be.
go. So if you're weak-minded, you're still choosing your own way.
Okay, but what makes you think that's what I'm saying? What makes you think one of the 100 are not weak-minded that's gonna get affected by it and do something erotic, like crazy, some
Okay,
crazy
but you
shit?
were generalizing everybody that was weak, that not weak-minded, but that was in a
Alright,
situation.
All right, well, I'll rephrase
into-
that. I'll rephrase that back. You know, like, this goes back to years of Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and why? Because you don't know how he grew up to be, and that's what I'm saying. He was probably raised in that way, or not, or he was probably affected in a way of the incidents going back to that time. But you think about it
Bro,
as like
but
100.
he wasn't that old. He was like 25.
Okay, but what makes you think like kids? I mean, I honestly, from what I've
Okay,
seen,
so- okay,
I
how
seen
old
a
are
lot
you?
of. I'm 23.
Okay, so you mean to tell me you're affected by Cesar Chavez?
No.
All
Why?
right then. So what the fuck you talk about?
Why? Because my dad's not a heavy Cesar Chavez person. He hardly talks about him. But if you really put it into a state of mind, when you're putting that in somebody's head, like I mean, what do you expect? I seen some kids that are out there like for instance, like I see some kids out there that want to be cartel members. Why do they want to be cartel members?
Okay, let's summarize.
Because they're affected by it, and
sorry,
it's
guys,
like
we got
it's the shit that they go through. It's just like it's the generation tradition that is passed down to. Because we're Mexican, we think that narcos is our shit. We're Mexicans, we're drug dealers. A lot of
No,
kids.
we don't. Not,
No, not.
that's, see, once again, you're generalizing.
No, well, that's because I think because I mean I seen statistics and me being where I was at and I seen what I seen and like I seen a lot of kids be like, oh, it's because my fucking dad and this and that, and I see it.
Dude,
And
but
I don't agree with
that-
it, but you know, all it takes is that one moment for somebody to snap
So,
and fuck.
okay.
While we have Jesus get his
Hold on.
Okay, let's
See,
summarize.
because
I would
he's still generalizing.
I get what he's. I get
So,
what he's trying to do.
no, hold on.
Coming from a
He's generalizing about Mexicans thinking cartels is the shit, and that's why kids want to be a
Give a fuck
cartel.
about cartels.
Okay,
Right.
thank you. You don't give a
I
shit
don't
about
give a shit.
cartel.
I grew up-
Junior Leo, do you give a shit about cartel? You're Mexican.
I mean,
No, don't.
All right, let's get a point.
Don't.
Half of the people in this party, what are they gonna listen to?
We connect. We
A lot of
what-
shit.
cartel.
All right, what half of the time, what are they gonna relate to? Damn.
Cartel is just a
Well,
group of
what do they
people.
analyze? What do they fucking idolize?
all right, just to let everyone know, we got Jesus in the house. Let's
Jesus.
summarize. Let's summarize.
All right,
what we-
Jesus just
Jesus
introduced
never.
himself.
Hey,
Okay,
for
you
instance,
guys-
Jesus.
Yeah.
Hey, for instance,
I just wanna
Jesus
summarize-
he's never been into Mexican music until recently. He wanted to start listening to Mexican music. Why?
No,
because
no.
no.
It's not that I chose.
no. But
Okay.
hey, look, it's not offensive, but
It's not that I chose to not listen to it. I didn't like it prior to a certain
when
date.
a certain exactly.
Because I didn't really understand it.
But the thing is,
and I
dude,
listened to it. Okay, but it has a certain influence on me in some way, somehow. However, I don't completely agree with
and
everything
not
they say.
all Mexican music is about cartels.
Yeah, you're right. It's not. But what's the majority?
So, are you guys talking about
The majority
are
is
you guys
mariachi and
are you guys
banda,
talking
bro.
about the
You don't
Only
shit.
recently
Yeah, we're
have they
talking
came
about
out
the
with
So
Dallas
narco
how many times do you come across a paisa that's fucking listening to mariachi or banda?
Okay, so
besides
what have you
norteño
guys-
music.
What have
Bro,
you
I come along that. I come upon that a lot, actually.
What have you came across? You guys talking about the Dallas shooting. Now we got talking about Mexicans and cartels.
No, because
No,
How
because he
does-
was generalizing.
Yes.
He was generalizing the shooter as being affected by the roots,
Yes.
and he was generalizing the people that grew up in that in that environment, saying
Exactly.
that because they grew up in that environment, they basically didn't have a choice into choosing a different path
No, that's-
besides the same
That's
that
completely
path.
No,
correct.
all right.
Everyone
Not
has a choice
just
to
all
make
right,
a
yeah.
decision of who they want to be and what they want
Okay,
to be.
but being influenced them otherwise, what
Yes,
choice do they got?
some people do get influenced
Yeah, I know.
by
Exactly.
by their
Predecessor.
by living in a certain neighborhood or by hanging out with certain people or by
But you still have a
you
choice.
absolutely got a choice. Everyone has a choice. I kind of understand your point. I understand, but I need you to understand the bigger picture outside the box. The Dallas shooting. Okay, one man with a sniper rifle pinned down a crew of about I think there were 17 officers, injured 11, injured 11 and killed 5. So
No,
that's-
that was part of the whole.
exactly.
So it's
how,
killed
There's actually
5.
more officers.
It was killed 5 and
Yeah,
6.
Five
injured.
I was saying it was about
officers and then
21 officers.
Oh, seven.
Shitload
Injured,
of officers.
injured 11.
Five of them dead.
Oh,
7
that's-
5
Oh.
dead? No. I think it's 11.
No, it's 5 dead, 7 injured.
Okay.
That's 12 in
So that's 12. Yeah, there's about 21 of the officers. So if one man, one human being can do that, obviously he was trained. Obviously he was.
Yes, he was.
He
has military
was
background.
very familiar with whatever rifle he decided to use, and not only that, like to position himself in that building where he was positioned or wherever he came from. You know,
He was a military person.
yeah, he was
He was a
definitely
military
individual.
For 5 years.
And he had background in the Black Panthers.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. So
Exactly.
obviously he has a certain influence and a certain hate towards.
There you go.
A certain influence, but
Yep,
he,
a certain
he
influence.
could have had a
Yeah,
clear choice.
but I'm Edgar, with you, I'm not arguing the fact that he had the influence. I'm arguing the fact that you're generalizing the person
All
with
right.
the rest of the,
Hey, can you
the,
go tell her?
the
Can you go tell her? that
community.
we're-
Okay, I'm not trying to. All right, if that's how it was taken, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just speaking statistically. The whole community has been going through it, but out of one person out of the community is gonna snap. That's where I was coming from. We should have
That's
seen
like-
it coming
that's
from.
like Donald
I mean,
Trump.
if you go like to
now
Martin
hear
Luther
him.
King, how many years ago was that?
Okay, so
I'm near,
what-
40,
nearly
50.
50.
You don't think there was gonna go 50 years of nothing but pain when not one person snapping like that?
let me give you.
I mean,
let me
come
give
on,
you-
that
let me
already
summarize
be
some-
statistics,
let me
you know?
Summarize some things. Okay,
That's my
Martin-
point of view.
Martin Luther King had a huge influence.
That's
on
even
him.
worse, because he had more
People.
influence.
Not on, okay, that
So what makes you think they're gonna let down their?
in means of even if you think you've never had influence, by black people would say, "Oh, I don't fucking care about Martin Luther King." Whoa, that motherfucker gave you your rights.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Cesar Chavez. The same thing with you. In a way, he kind of gave Mexican.
I mean, honestly, I didn't grow up
rights.
with. Yeah.
25 years ago, or however
Right.
long it was. So earlier you said, "Oh, do you care about Cesar Chavez?" Obviously, you don't.
Don't. Why?
Has
Because
he had a certain influence on your life?
Nope.
Yes, a certain impact.
no.
He's had an
Never.
impact in life. Yeah,
He
because
never had it.
if not, we would be coming to this. We would be coming to
You know
this.
who? Hey, you know who I learned having an impact in my life was? Hey, I'm gonna tell you who I was. My grandpa, rest in peace, Mundo, Pablo. What's it called? Zapata and Pancho Villa.
Some people absolutely that.
And you know what? Those are my. I'm not, Cesar
Those-
Chavez never did nothing for me. From what I grew up, you know what? My Abuelo Kundo,
Bro.
Zapata,
Maybe he didn't have a certain influence.
But-
and Pancho Villa were my
However,
influence.
he had
Bro,
a
but
huge
Pancho,
impact
do you
back
know the
then.
history of Pancho Villa?
Yeah.
What he was?
He was a fucking rebel. He was trying to take over shit. He was-
Okay,
he was trying. He
you-
fighting against
you,
the
you understand that
Mexican.
he killed innocent people as well.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
Zapata- and Zapata-
that's an idol.
No, but what? That,
Bro, that's what you're just
no.
saying.
My,
so
my,
you're
my idol-
contradicting what
no,
you're saying.
My idol is the pain that we went through, the revolution. Why? Because my grandpa Kundo grew up
Yeah, but
fighting
it
in the
was
military
it
with
was
him.
in
Let me tell you this.
You know, that's why I'm
What you're
influenced.
doing
I'm
is what
influenced by
Donald
that
Trump-
moment
that's what
because
Donald Trump
that's
is doing.
that's where
No,
my
that's-
family's coming
that's
from.
the guy who,
You know?
who I completely.
No, you're not getting it because look, my roots.
Mexicans.
Oh, you should've
put
Pico to
Mexicans
remove.
don't want to be cartels.
How far
Hey,
did my
Pico!
let us
Gangs
speak.
and
Let
criminals.
let us
Some
speak.
people don't want to do that.
So,
Same
how
thing,
how
that's
bad
exactly
is my?
how they're categorizing us as Mexicans. That's how he's categorizing black people.
Yeah.
And different.
We're always gonna get categorized. That's normal.
But see, that's the
That's
point.
exactly
Where
what
what I'm trying to
this
say,
is-
dude,
this is
is
absolutely
don't
correct.
categorize people or race. Don't categorize them
Why
because
not?
throughout, bro.
I'm all right. Yeah. All right. We're
Same
all right.
reason
All
why
right.
we
You say
think Donald
that?
Trump is an
No.
idiot.
Okay.
Because he's fucking retarded.
No, I'm not penalizing people, but like I'm telling you, I'm giving you the reason why people are doing what they're doing. Like my brother would tell you how far we go. Well, my abuelo Kundo, why do I look up to Zapata and Pancho Villa? Why? Because my grandpa, he was influenced by that. He told us stories.
Okay.
He personally
Okay.
like if your great grandpa was talking about like, you know what, this is what I went through. I seen an innocent kid die on behalf of his hands. What does that put you through?
That doesn't put you through anything, bro, because
No.
you're not in that moment.
Okay, now
You're
but
hearing a story.
Okay,
So
that's
if I
your
were
choice.
to tell you a story that I saw Superman, that's gonna influence you.
Because it's not real.
So
We-
if you,
I think-
but you're not
but we know
there.
the
Alright, guys,
Zapata.
alright.
We know the
Okay,
Zapata is
I-
real.
I want
I'm talking about
I want to
like.
break this down real
What I'm
quick.
starting to understand is he's doing something fictional and turning it into...
No.
trying to turn
No,
it
it's,
No,
it
no.
was real,
He
you
just-
know.
I feel
I
like
was
he just doesn't
influenced
have
by
a-
my.
He doesn't know what
hey,
his point is.
No,
But look,
I
this is
was
the point.
I was influenced by it. I don't
But
know. I'm
I
just
think
telling
this
you.
is the point you're trying to make. So the point that he's trying to make is not really about influences or anything like that. He's talking about mainly what happens when decades of shit happens and
Exactly.
you have family members that went through shit like that, right?
Exactly, and I can relate.
And they're giving you certain information. It doesn't mean you gotta follow it. It doesn't mean that you have to do any of that bullshit, right?
Because
but at
you
the
always
same
have a
time,
choice.
yeah, because you always have a choice.
Right.
But at the same time, it does build fear in a person to, you know, come in contact with something like that.
And will build
For
fear,
example,
builds-
Exactly.
for example,
And
with
then
the-
we,
with
we
the
look
cops.
back at
With
look
the
back at
cops
your
and all this
kids.
shit's
Like
been happening.
when they
Okay.
teach you, what are your kids gonna do? They're gonna look up
So,
to you and they're gonna take your advice
If-
because that's
if
what they
you're-
built up
if
on.
that fear has been built, if that fear's
Exactly.
been built and it's already been there, then you're gonna fucking question shit.
Yeah.
You're gonna be
Exactly.
You're gonna
And-
stay
and
quiet. You're gonna be like you're gonna
Okay,
try
and
to
that's-
conform.
and that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say, though. That's one part of what I'm trying to say. You have the choice. You could either act upon it in the wrong way or act upon it in the positive way and doing something right in the right way instead of going out and causing more chaos than what you're helping in.
Yeah, but I can
went-
guarantee you.
Look, I know for sure in history, food. So what I know and shit, you know, you have like Santiago said, you know, you could do it, act upon it the right way or the wrong way. I don't think there's ever been a right way. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at history, everything's been on the wrong way, bloodshed.
Yeah.
From innocent people and the ones who were part of the cause. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to this day, I still gotta see how is it that we can change. Remember, I always tell you guys yesterday, I don't think it's gonna get any better. I hate to be the netted guy, but I don't think it's gonna be better because history always proves that there's always has to freedom comes is paid by blood. We know that for sure.
There always has to be a war.
There's always going to be a
Yeah.
war. There's always has to be something. That day that comes where we find a solution to do it the right way, that'd be the day where we can actually say, "Fuck, you know what? We can actually fucking do it." But to this day, dude, to this day, I haven't seen I haven't seen. There's never been anything that's been done the right way, fool, without no bloodshed. And it's sad to say because I want that shit, fool, because I don't want nobody to die, fool. I don't want that shit. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I mean, I think we're at a time in society where we should be able to come up with something,
With some type of fucking
Some type of- yeah.
program, discussion.
something. But I mean, to that happen, fool, you know, like
No, yeah.
kinda- it's
I
kinda
I
hard.
completely understand that, dude. I understand both sides of what everybody's saying. I understand it. But my thing is, and I said it yesterday when we were talking about Black Lives Matter. I don't think Black Lives Matter
All lives.
because you're generalizing that you're saying Black Lives Matter more than Hispanic lives, more than white lives, more than
Yeah.
Asian lives.
And I agree with you.
So-
on
And
that.
then
I agree.
I did also say too, fool, the reason why they do that is because they feel like they're alone, fool, because Hispanics
Yeah.
don't really come up.
Yeah, and
You know what I'm
I
And you know
understand
what?
that.
Well,
But the fact,
Hispanic, it's because Hispanic gets shit done.
My
down lower.
point
We don't
was
go out
that.
to social media and start crying about it.
But
all
then
right,
again,
that's
we-
what
we're
I was gonna get to.
we
We
don't
just
do
don't
that,
give a shit
but-
at the end of
Some
the day.
fucking kid was killed the other day on the 4th of July. He was shot down
Yeah, in
too.
San Jose.
Yeah, and nobody.
But it's not that we don't cry about it, fool, but it actually literally just don't give a fuck about it.
Here's what it is too. I hate to say this.
This is Lenny right here.
Lenny's, just to let you guys know, Lenny's in the house.
Just to let you know, I am very biased. No, okay. Black people feel like they're owed everything. Black people feel like because they were slaves here, they're owed everything. Somebody said to them the other day, "What is it that black people are not getting? What do you get that we don't? Or what is it that you're not being given? What is it that you're not allowed to do? You're fucking allowed to do everything. You're allowed to walk off with more cases of murder, rape, first-degree battery, assault, house, what is it called? Domestic
invasion.
violence.
Violence and mess.
What just so happens that the new state elector for California, it happens to be like the judge who gets to vote whether these people get to go to jail or not, she's black now. So guess what? When a black person comes up to says and is like, "Oh, you know what, fellow brother, you're good to go." If it was a Mexican dude up there, Mexicans would be the same.
That's part of the problem.
You'll
though,
never
fool.
see a Mexican person as a high-powered representative or a president. Why? Because we're too real. We cannot be manipulated by corruption, like that black person.
Well, I think that's just part of the problem. Though. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a fact.
So it's
but
not black people who say Black Lives Matter. It's the media pushing it onto black people like a sack of potatoes, and again enslaving them to carry it all the way to the finish line.
It kind of goes back to what this. So we have good white people and we have bad white people.
We also have black people who hate black people.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
For
We have
some fucking
Mexicans, we have
reason.
Mexicans. But that's what I'm saying. Like, okay,
They're like,
look,
you know, you're
the
not
reason why, yeah, like you said, some black people do have that. They do have more. They get like these extra opportunities, which is kind of funny because they say that oh, we don't have the same rights and stuff like that. But that's because there is that one white group, the good white people that tend to want to lay. You know what? I want to give back to the community, this black community. That's why there's always these mixed emotions and information. So it's political propaganda.
My boss.
Yeah, it's like being politically correct. You know what I'm saying?
My
That's
ex-boss,
the
I guess
problem.
you could say, he was white. He's white. And he was telling me when all this stuff was happening, he's like, basically from his point of view, he was saying, instead of what we're talking about, he was saying how it's fucked up that white people are being verbally prosecuted. That white people can't even say anything anymore without being fucking called a racist. He's like, it's not fair. He's like, well, before we used to own this fucking land. He's like, and now I can't even come out because I'm a racist. Can't do anything now because I'm a racist. I can't look to a black person and say anything because I'm making them less. He's like, that's not fucking fair.
That's the problem too. It's
That's
like,
the problem.
It's like that, the fucking soup guy's mixed already.
Yeah.
And it's just so fucking.
And
it's all
before,
about being political.
before any of this World War II mental propaganda bullshit started happening, the media was the people's friend. The media was the one who told you, hey, check this out. They're doing something bad over there. People were like, oh, thank you, news. You know, you're always there to give us the news. Now, people don't seem to realize that has not been the case lately. The media is working against us. They're like, hey, check this out. They're fucking with more niggers over here. You should go over there and say some shit. But they're not saying, like, you know what? By the way, that guy was a 3-time wanted criminal, had a firearm, shouldn't have, had a bag of cocaine on him, shouldn't have. And, by the way, the oil just was dropped off the Pacific of the coast over here. We lost our world market in China. The guy from Russia says he's going to finally expose us for oil leakage elsewhere and aliens. Like, they're not telling us any of this stuff. It really matters. But everyone in America is worried about black people.
Because that's really
It's
look.
the power of the media. They
really
use
is
that to
that.
take advantage. They're like, you know what?
It's because
Everyone
like
trusts us already.
racial the whole fact racial intention and shit that is the number one threat to this country.
Yeah.
It
is
is the
also the
number
number
one
one like weapon. It's the thing that separates us off.
And I wouldn't be surprised if
my
fucking
dad's still here because
ISIS
he thinks I'm
fucking.
mad because we're
Use
talking
media
about
to
racist
instigate.
shit.
I mean,
it's
I
so
was just like
powerful.
telling Nate.
Like,
I'm not surprised if ISIS starts fucking infiltrating these Black Lives Matter type of groups because you know what?
let me stop it right there. ISIS is the same thing.
Yeah, but that's a group. And
ISIS
I
is
think
a
that's
group
what
of
he's trying to
people
say
who have
about
been pushed by the
not,
media.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to say about not having these groups, categorizing these groups.
Yeah, not generalizing people, man.
Yeah.
But there's always gonna be that though, fool. There's always gonna be that fool because not everybody's getting fucked over. Not everybody's getting fucked over at the same time, fool. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gets fucked over like.
Hey, check it out.
Those people from ISIS are literally people that American troops came over, trained to be deadly killing machines, left them crates of boxes and said, see you later, we're out of here. They irresponsibly just trained these people to kill, to hide in bushes, to be tactical, and left them weapons. All that shit was on purpose, man. They purposely left these people there. What are they gonna do? They're not gonna tie hands and be like, let's be happy for America. They taught us something great. Fuck no, they're gonna be like, these fucking stupid Americans leave us here with all these weapons. Now we take over the world. And now we have mental training to do so. Now they can survive in the fucking Sahara for a week and a half on rations. They know how to do it now. They know how to disarm their weapons and rearm. They know how to take nuclear missiles down and put them back together. We taught them that stuff.
Now it's fucking biting their ass. But
And
it kind of goes.
And now
way
they're
off
like,
what we're
oh,
talking
now
about.
we have these radicals out there.
No, I
And
want to
that's
go home
us.
already.
15 minutes.
I'm
Literally.
tired.
Well, look, I know we kind of jumped a little
Where?
bit
Yeah, I
far
know.
off and shit, but
Well-
I guess my point is like
It's the same stuff. The Black Lives Matter thing is it's all a reduction of the media
I just think
propaganda.
the people needs to be more fucking educated. Fool.
The question
You know what I'm
here, the
saying? They
question
gotta be
here
more
was,
educated on what really is going on right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm obviously I'm Hispanic and shit, but I do believe.
all right, bring it back to look. Hey, look.
I'm saying for the viewers. Okay,
All right, all right, let's
the
go back.
viewers.
Let's
go back
Hey,
to the
let's
Dallas
go
shit.
back. The question was,
Oh, yeah,
what do
is
you
it?
think about what happened with the Dallas shooting.
Oh, I was
My
about to say that.
opinion-
I was about to say that.
Okay, look,
Okay,
my,
okay.
my opinion was,
Listen,
I know
look,
my
this
opinion.
is what
Obviously, okay.
I thought. Look, I thought, you know what? As blacks, of course, like you said, they always feel like they're also okay. They went through like 40, 50 years of abuse and all that. All right, my
was
all right,
It
century.
was about a century.
All right,
Possibly two.
my
I have
my,
something
my
on
theory.
that too,
They
but-
said they
Closer,
said what was the
closer.
reason about it? I said because 1 out of 1,000,000 people throughout the whole years of going through pain was gonna snap. That's why it happened, and that's what I wanted to
Here's
say.
the reason.
That's what I think.
I completely
It's not
agree.
because I really asked what happened with the shooting. How many people was it? One person. Why? Why wasn't it the army? And if it was really a traditional thing, why wasn't it like army, like a group of black people
Yeah,
coming in?
yeah. That makes sense.
I mean, you know, it was
Make
one
a
person. It
media
just
stand,
one.
right?
One person really took his tradition to the heart, and he really snapped.
Once he
That's-
says what he's gonna say, I'll top that perfectly for you with a cherry
now-
on it.
Here's what
That's
I'm
what
saying.
that's what I tried to mean the whole time.
Let
I
me
mean,
go-
we had like a
let me go ahead
45
and make you guys
conversation about
understand
it, but that's what I tried to
Yes,
mean the whole
black
time.
people are full of ignorance.
I know, but this is
Black people completely are full of ignorance. They believe that they're
Not
the
all of
world
them. Not all
owes
of
them
them.
because of slavery.
No.
Yes,
Not all of
slavery
them.
slavery
the ones who don't.
is fresh.
No, not
slavery,
Just
all
at
of them.
a,
You know
at a
what?
place
No.
in their mind where they're subconsciously okay with whatever's happening around them.
slavery
But yeah, they're still all the same.
it's still fresh. It was within the last 100 years. You guys gotta understand that. I mean, someone's grandma was
was still a slave.
was still a slave, was still working for white people. So you got that I
Take
understand.
consideration, exactly.
So this last generation still has someone's grandma or someone's great grandma who did go through slavery the entire life. Okay, so just understand both sides. Let's go back to the Dallas shooting. All right, there was a black man. He had a sniper rifle. Took 11 cops down. 5 dead, 12. 5 dead, 7 wounded. One man. This is the way I took it. Yes, it's completely wrong. I don't agree with. However that man took. You know, this entire situation. He took it to another level. He did take out. He took out 12 law enforcement individuals, trained cops. He took out 12 of them.
And not even that, people that been in.
Okay, so the way I took it is look at
Forward.
this one person standing against law enforcement, and look how
powerful that
how
was.
powerful he crippled this
System.
this part of the
All right,
system
that it didn't cripple
Not
the
only-
system, but the propaganda and the media.
completely. So I'm just thinking, yes, it was completely. I completely disagree with the way he went through it. Yeah, he did kill 5 cops and he wounded 7. But not only that, he made a huge. I think if you think about it, he made a huge impact in the world. A huge like a view like
Something that
government, regardless of how strong they become, if the people unite or somehow fight back, yes, we can take over.
we
That
can.
was
That's
just
the way
one
I took
person.
over.
That
Also
was
works
one
the
person.
other way.
Yes,
And
it does.
you
it
know,
does.
yeah.
That's the way I saw it. I said, look at this one person, how he pinned down 30 law enforcement individuals. Yeah, he had the distance and he had the height, and we killed, like I said, 5 law enforcement individuals, and he wounded 7 others. But he made such a huge impact on the world. And not only that, people in LA, cops, went out to media and said, you know what, we need to stop this because if not, people are going to start killing us.
Yeah.
And we're no longer going to have control.
And that's where it comes
And
back
that's
to.
what I'm saying.
That's another point to
Government,
what's gonna
It affects other cops and everybody.
which is what I believe how we should have went about it within the last 2 decades, in the last 20 years. That's how the changes that we need to start making to make the
Honestly,
entire world different, better. America, specifically just America, because look how
This is
everyone's-
only an American problem.
Yes.
This is only American problem,
But
it is.
obviously, American, yes, I agree. It's an American problem.
And you know what's crazy about it? That America only has this problem based on hatred and racism. Other countries have this
Agreed.
problem.
Because of the 1%.
No,
yes.
no. Other
California was
countries.
given $3.8 billion 2016. Where's all that money?
It's
Brand new
gone.
fucking BMWs and LAPD, brand new fucking BMW motorcycles. Bullshit. Fucking illegal checkpoints everywhere. Not even doing their job. When the bitch is getting mugged and raped behind UCLA, where the fuck are you?
Exactly.
Where the fuck is your drone?
Where is your honor in protecting
Look,
the right?
what happened in Florida, what happened in Dallas, that wasn't a person who snapped. That wasn't a person who was controlled by ISIS. That was a fucking person who was told tomorrow, at this time, you're gonna be there
Wait a
and
minute,
you're gonna
the
kill
one
all
in,
these people.
You talking about the one in Florida?
If you don't do that,
Orlando?
we're gonna find another person who's gonna do it. So you may as well do it.
There was a man with training.
That's why I honestly I don't bother. Like honestly, I really want things to get better, but this is how I know this country's not gonna
No,
last
they're gonna
long.
do it against
because
us
you know
on
what?
purpose. They
This
want
country, look,
us
this country, it's
to
only
fuck
been
up.
This country's only been up for about 300 plus years.
Yeah.
It's one of the youngest countries at the magnitude that it is, and it's already suffering from all these type of things. It won't last. It just won't last.
And why?
Especially
We
with
have to
this.
understand. We have to understand that this country is just another country, part of this planet, and every country has its history.
I know, but
The only people who protect us is the law enforcement.
okay,
When we
right.
can't have faith in them anymore,
Who's gonna protect
that
us?
is literally the last Jenga piece.
All right,
Because
look,
then-
But you know what?
what's gonna
Because
stop your
it's
neighbor
also
from coming
look
over here?
because
No,
this land is born from revolutionary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
okay,
another
but
thing.
all right,
That's
let's
why
put
this
hey,
this country
let's-
won't work.
Listen to the situation. All right, let's really listen to the situation right here. All right, you really go. Let me see how I'm gonna say this.
Word your shit right, bro, because I'm a debater.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
In the meanwhile,
I don't look.
No,
personally,
I
let me get my-
got this. No, look, this country is based on the actual life that we go through. What happens when you give somebody everything? What do? They don't learn how to appreciate things. Why? Because they had everything handed to them. What is the United States?
welfare, you know?
Exactly. Why do we not appreciate shit? Why? Because we have everything handed to us. We're fucking making a big ass deal. We're killing. We're fucking making massacres and everything. When people in Africa are fucking dying to get our fucking food right now.
people in Africa are dying from the
What-
disgusting shit the Bill Gates is testing on
What
them
are
to later
we
come
doing?
bring to us.
Exactly.
That's
So
another
what are
different
like exactly like so if Africa
No,
and
it's-
camera,
that's
I
why
mean
they're suffering
we're
over
jumping
there.
topic, but look, check it out.
No, it's because you guys don't understand it's all
No,
related.
it
Wait,
does.
wait,
It
wait,
does.
time out.
It
The
does.
shit
go
that
way
happened in
back.
South
Same topic right now.
Those people were
No,
literally
but
without
I'm
any
trying-
food.
Wait,
for
time
so
out,
long
time
for
out.
the same
We
fucking
all
reason,
come
though.
back
Time
to it, you know?
out. Stay on the same topic.
We're on the
That's
same
what I'm saying.
topic.
We're all on the same topic. We're just
Yeah, it sounds like you're switching
No,
topics.
we're not.
That is why the world is so confused.
It's like a
Exactly.
network.
They do it like that
everything's
so that you
combined
can
in
never
something.
find
listen,
where it
this
began.
how I see the U.S. We're like fucking kids. We had everything handed to. We're gonna fucking
It's
be on
hard, I
crazy
know.
for
This
it.
is why we don't talk
And
at the
then
kitchen
this
table
is why I
till
think.
fucking 1 o'clock in the morning.
And why is everybody from Mexico so desperate to come here? Why is everybody from El Salvador so desperate to go to Mexico just to catch a hold to even think about 80% of the chance they're not gonna make it to come here?
Watch.
Why is Africa
Everything
suffering?
literally is about money.
Exactly, and why? Because they're suffering and we're okay.
The
but yet we think
corporations
we're bad
that
about
they
it.
work
And
for us,
third world country, we're full of shit right now.
the
to them.
corporations that work for us,
We're full of shit
like
to them right now.
Pepsi Cola, Apple, Microsoft, Cisco, NASA, those people, they don't pay any federal taxes here. They have their businesses outside. So when you ask for a service, they get to make all that cash off you, and they don't get to give anything back. Since there's nothing to give back, the government has to find another fucking sneaky way of getting it out of you, because they're obviously not gonna pay for your fucking broken leg, or your fucked up tire. You're gonna have to contact Toyota overseas to set this up through a dealership. It's easier now, right? You just go online and buy it. But there was a process to it. If it wasn't for all those companies to take their money out and instead had to pay their due fees here, we would be in a better economy.
Okay, let me stop you there, bro.
All right,
We just went from Dallas shooting
Right.
to Africa to no corporation paying taxes
All right,
here
well, my
when the
Dallas
topic
shooting-
It
was
was the Dallas
Dallas
shooting.
shooting.
Right.
I just want to get everybody's input on that day. Those 12 people that were shot, 5 of them were dead. I want that input. I don't want no
So you
input
think
from
it's-
everything
like,
else.
What's right and wrong? If you
I-
think it was right or wrong.
No, I don't care what you guys say, but as long as it's about that situation, like what's your
Yeah,
input
Okay,
on
well,
the
okay,
situation?
okay. Look,
so-
the
okay,
reason,
so
the
fuck
reason,
everything I'm talking
no,
about.
No, no, the
Here's
reason
what we
why.
got.
Look,
We got
the
My
reason-
opinion on that was it was literally an inside job.
Okay.
If it's on TV,
that's exactly
it's
what
an
I'm-
inside job.
that's what I'm proving
Because
my
if
point.
it's not an inside job, then they're not going to show it to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Exactly.
If it was an inside job, then I show it to you.
If it was real, like JFK assassination,
what is
you'll never
what is
know.
the purpose of having one man pinned down and killed
Martial law. Roll in, take off our guns, take away your more taxes.
Not even that.
That's what it is. More
Two
money.
of the people that were
That's where I was
killed.
getting.
Yeah, yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
About that.
Two of the
That's
people
what it
that
is.
were
They're
killed,
talking- they're
not to
looking
throw
for
it out there,
control.
but two of the people that were
Figure out
killed.
a better
Watch
way.
the
three,
videos.
four,
Watch the
six-
videos. Cops are like this.
Figure out
Well,
a
actually,
better-
What the
actually,
fuck are they shooting at?
No,
the
not
major
even that,
point-
but
the
like,
major
check it
point
out.
of this thing,
Two
Lenny,
people
hold
that
on.
were killed.
The major point of this thing, Lenny, is not really just the martial law. That's one step.
Yes,
It's
just
actually
right.
to cancel the presidential.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the main thing.
Yes.
If we go into a civil war, he can cancel, and he'll remain the UN leader.
See, I didn't think about that, but yes.
Yes. No. That's
Yes.
that's
No,
exactly where I was going to lead to.
Yeah.
That's
He's
exactly.
already
what I was
the
gonna
UN
say.
leader.
What's going on?
If he stays the fucking president of the United States,
Who is?
one of the
Who's the
largest
He's also.
nations.
Who's
They
the-
are also
who-
trying to
who's the
persuade
UN
him
leader? Just so I
to
wanna-
clear Hillary.
Obama. Exactly. Why?
What?
What? Is,
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Exactly. I thought it was.
He's
Exactly.
already
I
the
thought it was
leader
talking
of
about
the
Trump.
UN, bro.
But
He's already got it.
Yes.
He
He's
just
talking
needs to
about-
stay
Okay,
president now.
real
He's
quick,
good.
that guy was only voted in because he was black, and people barely now are starting to admit that. Blacks are like, yeah, we wanted to see a nigga in
No,
presidency.
because it's,
Like,
it's
okay,
the strongest nation.
here's what happened last time there was a president. Either we got a woman or we got a black.
So
We
you're
had to
saying-
pick one.
So he's saying that the
So
shooting was
Hillary-
an inside job.
Hillary gave it up. Yeah, Hillary said,
Okay.
I'm gonna give it up to Obama. You motherfuckers owe me next time. That's why Hillary is gonna be fucking president. Whether what happens to her after, I don't know. But
I
she's
think
gonna
she
be
will be
president.
president,
They owe it to her. Once Hillary's president, that's it. The Clintons will have got what they're due. That's what they came here for. She is a fucking maniacal monster. She's like, Clinton, my husband got his spotlight. Why the fuck don't I get mine? Every contract she made overseas was a dead end piece of shit. That's why we never found out about it. That's why she's not popular to us. All we see here is as the rat she is because she never came out to the light with us. Nobody knows. Nobody even knew she was Secretary of State. She is literally the person who says, yes, we go to war, or no, we don't go to war. This fucking person. So what's gonna happen is if we don't make a president,
Just to pause it real quick.
women-
Just pause it real quick before I go back inside. We're back on Dallas topic real quick. before
yeah,
we
yeah,
continue.
women are gonna feel like men are never gonna want women to be president. Like we're sexist.
I'm gonna get a shot real quick, guys.
Okay, maybe I thought about that. Okay, we either have Trump, who's a complete idiot and has absolutely no
Here's
reason to
another
be
thing.
president, or we have a woman.
This is kind of why I was talking about money because I was gonna get to Trump. The reason why Trump is such an idiot is because the media made Trump
Perceives him like
an idiot.
Yes.
If
But-
Trump was president, Trump would make all those motherfuckers come right back here and give us back that money, easing off our taxes, easing off the shit that gets collected from you every paycheck.
But
Okay,
it doesn't work
Because
like
they'll
that,
have
bro.
that money from them.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
but
work
because it
like
never
that.
worked like that from the beginning. But that's what Trump wants. He wants these corporations to bring back the taxes. That's why they're like, boo, like, you know, you're an idiot. We're going to paint you like a fucking clown. We're never going to do that.
So you're saying is they put him out here as face, and now they're starting
No,
to change the
Trump literally wants to be president because
Trump-
he wants to wave his power around like any other normal person would.
Trump is like the X factor.
Exactly,
It's
that's what
not
I'm
part of the
saying. After
plan.
JFK
They threw
Kennedy-
him out there for a part of this plan, and then now
No,
he's
he was never
completely-
part of the plan.
No, he
This
was never
is-
part of
this
the plan,
just
which
a
is why
pissed
they
off
wanted out
citizen
too.
who
Because
has
he's
money,
not one
bro.
of them.
Okay, so he's not
He's
one of
just a fucking guy
Idiot,
with a
yeah.
shitload of money
Okay.
who just
He's
wants
an
to
idiot.
make a difference if he thinks he can.
Yeah, maybe he's not idiot. Yeah, you're right. Maybe he's a lot smarter than
Yeah, he said a couple words, and the media's like, "We're gonna use that right there, and that's it. We're gonna ruin your career with
Okay.
that."
Yeah,
And that's how they do it.
But exactly. But
Trump is not.
Alright,
dumb.
but
yes,
Trump
He's not
got
dumb.
$1 million
Obviously,
and created a fucking empire.
he's not dumb fool because I'm not like when I say he's dumb fool because what he's trying to go for he doesn't know jack shit.
Yes.
But he could afford the people that do know. So that's what I'm saying.
Because
Like,
we're not gonna go on board with that.
but he's business smart because he didn't get there for no reason.
I'm saying he's
You
a
know what I'm
The
saying?
economy has
Yeah.
gone like
Wait,
this,
wait,
and he's
wait,
got
wait,
nothing
wait,
to
wait.
do.
Kinda goes
You guys
up-
are wait,
yeah.
hold on. You guys are saying Donald Trump is not an idiot
Listen, he's an
when it
idiot
comes to
because-
business, right? Is that what I'm
Well, yes,
understanding?
when it comes to
Hold
business,
Hold on, hold on,
When it comes
Jesus.
to money-
Hold on,
boy.
Jesus.
Oh,
No, no, the fuck he doesn't.
He's
Okay.
not a dumb person,
He has.
Hold
but
on.
anybody can make bad investments or
Bad
bad decisions.
investments?
Yeah, we're talking about investment. Yeah, I mean,
Because
No.
that's probably what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
Because he has had some businesses that fucking failed.
How many?
I don't know, but he has had some.
More than 5.
A lot.
he has look.
But he still has money to push his
the
weight
thing is
around.
And
that
why does he have that money? Because he screwed over the
yeah,
people
he
for
used
those
bankruptcy system.
investments.
Doesn't say he used the bankruptcy
So-
system as a
so
tool. You know what I'm
it-
saying?
He
Hold on.
used the same system though that fucks up. and
Yeah,
fucked
but
them
yeah,
back.
I'm saying that's why.
No, but you guys are saying that he's smart business-wise. How is he smart when he's throwing that debt back onto us?
Hey,
That $3.5 million
What the-
that
It's
that-
either you
that
win or
he
lose,
went
fool.
bankrupt.
What the hell do you live in this world for?
you either win or lose. That's why he's saying he's fucking us over. Don't get me wrong, fool. He's fucking us over. But at the end of the day,
But at the
he's
same time,
winning.
he
fool.
still does business here.
He's winning, but
Okay.
but
No, he
Right,
doesn't.
so the debt's collecting on us
Bro,
for
how
stuff
is he
that.
doing business here when he's hiring illegal immigrants to build his fucking buildings?
That's why, but
That,
the
how's
work
that
is
business here?
Yeah.
No, how is that business here? When
Well,
those
it looks like
illegal
those
immigrants
illegals
aren't
live
gonna,
here.
they live here, but are they paying taxes here?
Well,
You're
I
going
mean,
back
yeah.
to taxes.
I mean, yeah, they're gonna go buy stuff.
No, I'm saying each year, are they gonna pay taxes like the rest of us do?
Well, no,
I mean, I don't
Okay,
think they completely
so
pay taxes
they
like
don't.
we all do.
no,
However,
they don't. But I mean,
They-
a lot of people.
I mean, officially, it seems like he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. But at
When
the
it
end of the day,
comes- when
he's
it comes
winning,
to-
fool. You know
And
what
are
I'm
you
saying?
guys
Leader
really
of-
gonna say
leader
this
of
guy is
America.
smart when he built a university that is not accredited?
That's
the
cool.
accreditation stuff.
I
He's
get what
not-
I get what
he's
you're
always
saying,
a
fool.
fucking thing that has to do with another complete branch all the
Exactly,
time.
yes.
But
But
okay,
you-
we see
okay,
what you're saying.
So,
Trust
so
me.
you're gonna build a.
The thing is
It's
that-
kind of like being school smart and being street smart, fool. He's just
He's a
street
guy
smart.
who's like a
He's
little
street
bit of
smart.
both.
You know what I'm saying? But
and then
What we're
have
trying
a,
to say is
have
that
a state company.
having
when it comes
him
to ruling
I mean-
the
compared to
country-
him,
Bro,
and
he
what
has
we
a
have-
I
state
mean,
company.
okay,
He
look.
doesn't sell steaks.
he's winning. That's why I say he's smart. But yeah, what he's doing, he's fucking not
You know,
there.
the only
fool.
way
It's
that
like, he's
the
not
US
there.
It's like
gonna
he's
get out of-
smart and he's stupid at the same time.
The only way that we're gonna get out of fucking
Yeah.
of the debt that we have,
He's
the only way to get out of the debt that we have is to fuck somebody over. And that's the
That's-
best one to do it.
That's
But the thing is,
Here we
who
go
is he
again.
gonna fuck over?
Anybody.
When-
fool.
no,
He can
it's
fuck-
not
he can
anybody,
fuck
'cause
over
if he was trying
China.
to fuck Apple,
He can fuck over
Apple's
Europe.
just gonna move to
fuck
fucking
over
China
anybody.
or Japan
No,
or
because
wherever. the
Apple's
fuck-
not already here. Apple's in Singapore.
Okay, so then who is he gonna fuck over?
That's why. Watch.
people. Fool.
What company is he
When
gonna fuck
we
over?
left Britain, we came here and said, "Fuck you. This is America. If you like it or not." Trump is the person to do that. Trump is gonna be like, "I want that. If you like it or not, I'm American. So what?" He's the one who's gonna say, "Fuck you, South Korea. Push the fucking button." That's why. He's the person who's gonna do that. He's the guy with the American attitude, the asshole. I can do it for whatever the fuck I want.
and if everything goes
Fuck
to
you.
shit, then they blame it on him.
Yeah,
And
he will have
dies,
our strength,
and-
our power, our money. It's
and
a
the
risk.
world continues
It's a
without
risk.
him.
But do we do that, or do we give it to Hillary Clinton, who's
Okay,
going to
hold
continue
on.
to deficit
He
our
just
country?
He just said Donald Trump is the one that will press the button.
Yeah, he's the guy who with the American.
Are you
Everything
willing
goes
to?
south, they
so
blame it on
what
Trump.
you're saying
Trump
is,
dies.
are what I'm
Disappears
I'm
for
gonna
the
get
rest of
to
his
is, you're willing to put your life in this man's hand?
What you don't need to understand is whether we decide or not, perpetual war is there. It's
No,
happening
I
every day.
understand that, but I'm going to the fact that you're saying that he's the one that's gonna press that
I
button.
mean, if he presses the button, I'm still gonna wake up tomorrow.
Wait, are you
How
saying
do
that
you
you
know
go?
that?
Are you saying you want Donald Trump to be president?
What I'm saying is, he's the kind of person that we need. Do you think
To
that
do
the
what?
House of Representatives is gonna let him push the button?
But okay,
Wait,
you're saying that we
Well,
need
we
him
need
for
that
what?
kind. We need that kind of attitude in the White House. Yeah, because all we've had for the past 40 years is a bunch of puppets.
Well, look,
through a
this is
system of
why
networks.
look, this is why I know we don't really need him, fool. Because first of all,
Well,
look,
no, okay. Well, I'm
The-
not saying that we need him, but out of the presidential candidates we have available, he's the best one.
well, I've always said, if Donald Trump becomes president,
Bernie Sanders
World
is the
War
best one, but
III.
Bernie Sanders is just a puppet. He's just there
Bernie
to
Sanders is
have
the
a
same thing as
choice.
Donald Trump, but he's the one that's giving us fucking
Bernie
marshmallows
Sanders
and
is just a
fucking
hope and
dreams,
dream.
fool.
He's
Yeah,
never
that's
gonna
what
be
it
president.
is.
He's not even. That's not even.
But also
real.
Trump is also giving us
That's what
bullshit,
sucks.
fool. You know what I'm saying? But I've always said if Donald Trump fucking becomes president, World War III. If Hillary,
Yeah,
if
that
Hillary
is true.
Clinton-
If Donald Trump becomes president, basically the world's gonna shit themselves.
if
Nobody
Hillary
fucking
Clinton
likes that.
becomes president, it's just gonna
If
collapse.
Hillary
fool.
Clinton becomes president, nobody will take us serious.
No,
because
but that's
she's
what I'm
a
saying.
woman.
But it's just gonna
And
collapse,
it's simple
fool.
as fucking that, and it's gonna collapse because of a stupid ass decision like that.
Which comes back to me being negative. Fool. There's just I don't see no positive for this country. Fool.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
There's nothing because look, Hillary Clinton it wants to continue Barack Obama's mission, which is to get us into
Which
the
is
UN.
Actually, still the Clintons' organization.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
administration.
What people don't understand, like I think I mentioned to, I don't know who I mentioned it. Back in Reagan, actually it was George Bush Sr., the one who's actually signed the
Right.
whole program where the UN, because this agenda, I think it's called
The
Agenda
NAFTA,
21.
or some shit like that?
Agenda 21 was actually signed back in 1988 or 1990. Don't quote me on that, but it was signed by all world leaders to say that at some point, every citizen must not be armed. But we signed it. We signed it back in the days.
Yeah, there's
Why
a
did
whole
we
bunch
sign
of
that
other
if it
stuff
goes
in there,
against our
too.
Constitution? Barack Obama knows that. You know what I'm saying? And we are one of the last big countries in the world to already fulfill that. This is why we have all these fucking protest shootings. It might be. I'm not saying. I'm not trying to be a conspirator. But the fact is that we go by Agenda 21. And you guys look it up. Agenda 21 is not a conspiracy. It's an actual real fucking file. It's a real proposition that got passed back in the late 80s. and we need to abide by it. And Obama knows that, fool. He knows that. Now, Clinton is part of that group. She knows. She was, like I said, Secretary of the State, right? She knows better of anything that's foreign relations. You know, you have the Foreign Relation Committee, you have the Council of Foreign Relations, that's what they call it. All that shit needs to be completed, fool. And Obama knows that, and that's what he's been doing, fool. He's been doing that. Why? Because Americans still believe that this is America and this should just be America, and it's not that, fool. Because back in the 80s, we got signed in back into that group, the UN and shit. We're part of that group now, fool, whether we like it or not.
That's why I told you that when the UN broke off that little piece, they fucked up big time.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
They were not supposed to show us that they can just cross their arms and be like, you know what, we're just gonna leave.
But who did that, fool? It was the Prime Minister, the new Prime Minister that came in.
That was such a huge.
When that shit passed, fool, he threw a big ass grin, fool. He threw a big ass grin, like, you know what? I did it. But why did that happen? It wasn't supposed to happen. So that shit was literally not supposed to happen.
And I don't understand any of it either. Why were they trapped in that building? Why was there a fucking hurricane there? It was flooded. Like, okay, maybe it's very radical to think that the government manipulated the weather that day for that outcome.
For what? You're talking about the what?
The day that they decided to vote out.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, there was a lot of things going on. I'm not saying like, I mean, I'm pretty
like
sure.
Like they forced the village to leave.
But the matter of
left
fact,
those people in that building.
but okay,
Why?
but let's talk about but we don't want to kind of go too far out. You know what I'm saying? For the listeners. But the Brexit, or how they call it, it wasn't supposed to happen. That changes a lot of things, fool, because that, especially this country, what a lot of people don't understand, it's like a bunch of little countries put together. A lot of people think that, oh, the states, this is all United States. No, every state at one point was its own little country. That's how it was. Texas has been wanting to leave for the longest already. California wants to leave, you know, been wanting to leave for the longest and shit. That's why that Brexit shit is a big problem, because it's gonna like a chain, like a domino effect. Now it shows that people, oh, you know, we could actually fucking depart from the fucking state.
Nah, not if they turn it into territory. Then you're done.
Well, that's what eminent domain comes in, fool. Agenda 21, eminent domain. Now the government could actually clarify anything.
Territory.
You know, anything that's eminent domain. That's why global warming is such a big topic, because everything is about the animals and the nature. Well, you know what? Agenda 21, eminent domain, abide that. You know what I'm saying? If there's like an area that they believe is endangered species or anything like that, they can claim eminent domain on it. If it's your property, they can claim eminent domain and they could take your property, fool. Fuck your rights. But that's actually a law, fool. And they've been doing that shit for the past fucking, what, 10, 15, 20 years and shit?
It's technically with martial law.
It's happening, fool. That's what I'm saying. That everything, we're all part of one system now, fool. We just, Americans, don't want to accept that, fool.
Just last month, China already started giving everyone fingerprint currency. Everyone is already registered in through a fucking
And it's
DMV.
important. You know, that's what I'm saying. Ancestry.com, fool. Ancestry.com offers DNA testing to search who your ancestors. Trust me, I've been doing search for my ancestors and shit. Now, they say, hey, come in, check your blood. You might be descendants of a royal and shit. They're just mapping out everything and shit. Why do you think you need, when you get welfare, you need to get your fingerprints, fool? There's no way you can get welfare without getting your fingerprint. They just need to fucking, we're all being fucking cataloged, fool.
Okay, so Dallas shooting, I made a huge impact. It's changing media right now.
It's not changing media.
I don't think it was an inside job, like Lenny said. I just think that's just one of the, like I call it the X factor. It's just something that wasn't part of the plan, and people are getting pissed
senators
off.
are being selected, and the cabinet are being selected, as well as secretaries and things like that. And the way people don't want it to happen.
The media might mold it to that, you know, use that because you understand.
They're using all these other, like, so much things going on.
But that's part of the media, fool. The media needs to be ready to fucking, when something comes up, they can use it to advantage for whatever they want.
So
Media's not
like,
our
let me
friend
just tell you
anymore.
one
It's not a tool
thing,
for us
guys.
anymore.
Let me just tell you one
It's two
thing.
for the 1%.
With media, it hypes up something, right? In the past, we've seen certain things getting hyped up for certain reasons and shit. But at the same time, in the background, there's always something else happening.
Yeah.
There is this right here is being hyped up, I think, because of the fact that, because I mean, fucking people die all the time. I mean, if you go to fucking Compton or Long Beach or Linwood, you know, even back in like the early 2000s, people were dying all the fucking time. Why weren't they making a big deal
I
out
think
of that
California,
shit?
235,000 people died a day.
Fucking, I mean, a lot of people die. Why the fuck is this any different? what I think is that they're hyping this shit up because of the fact that what happened with North Korea. North Korea almost launched something towards us. They launched something at us, or they tried to, and that shit failed.
That guy wants to
And I'm thinking it's because we have the EMP shit, we fucking made that fucking missile go down and shit. Because of the fact that that happened, and why the fuck isn't the news talking about that? Because we literally, at this point, are going to war with North Korea, because they've already declared war against us.
By shooting the missile.
Because they shot a missile and shit. And I don't understand how that isn't being blown out of proportion like this other bullshit with these cops are, because these cops, I mean, fuck, like like I said before, they had to come to them and shit. But that's the reason why I think they were blowing this shit out of
Not the
proportion.
ones that got killed had it coming to them, bro. But
No. I mean, I'm talking about the cops. I'm talking about cops in general.
They did it in the
Fucking
reddest state they could.
enforcement,
too,
law
like,
enforcement.
Yeah.
They had to come into them
Which is
because
what
of the
I'm saying.
bullshit that they're covering up.
It was to make.
It was to make a point.
Yeah, it was to make a point.
It was to make. I mean that also.
I think this
is
is-
falling into it and shit. But what the
Say
fuck?
like not even guns are safe.
But what the fuck? What the fuck's up with that missile that we almost got hit with? And
Yeah,
shit?
you're right, fool. I mean,
What the fuck's up with that? That
That's
doesn't make
why
any
I
sense.
do believe, yeah.
Because
I
the
think
media
media,
knows
yeah.
Come on,
They
man.
can't
Like
distract us with that.
that shit is crazy.
But it is a
Once people
distraction
start
for
to
the
understand
whole.
that the media is not what you think it is, you start to unlock the truth. Because I always tell my parents, if you fucking see it on TV, it's bullshit. Stop fucking paying attention to it. I knew it was because I saw it on TV. It's bullshit.
Right now,
if it's
I'm-
on fucking TV, they want you to believe that really hard. They're paying millions of dollars for you to believe that.
But
I'm
but look
literally
at the situation we
believing
get put
that
in too, fool.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
why.
So there was a
That's
missile
what's
launch.
hard.
Where was
That's
it
why
heading?
it's hard.
Hard.
Yeah.
Where was it heading? Where
It was
was
actually
it
heading towards South Korea, which is our ally.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I know for
So
sure.
they're-
I'm
are
a
they trying to
believer
start
that
a war?
news
Are they
is
trying to
used to
start-
Yeah, they're
use
trying
North
to
Korea
as a
already, they
distraction.
already
fool.
said that because of the fact that
They
we-
already said more than
we-
5 or 6 times.
But
that
let's-
they're gonna literally bomb.
we issued an air defense plan against North Korea already. The U.S. already issued that. That's already been signed.
Which is
And
already-
North Korea said because we signed that we're declaring war. So they launched the missile, but the missile for some reason it malfunctioned. They said supposedly it malfunctioned. You see what I mean? Like, how the fuck is that not the main news right now? I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm actually not following anything about these cops. Like, I'm following that mostly. That's what I'm focusing on.
But that's also
That's
too.
the worst shit that I've
I know,
ever
fool,
heard.
but that's also
Wow,
the
man.
fucking. That's what's fucked up, fool. That you know, like that somebody did die, fool. You know what I'm saying? Even though, like I said, people die every day, but for those few small group, fool, they're fucking hurting and shit. That's what's fucked up about it. You know what
Whether
I'm
they're
saying?
using the people on themselves.
Like 9/11.
Yeah.
To the fucking day, people still seem to choose to not believe 9/11 was an inside job. My boss tells me, you're stupid. Why the fuck would the government do that to themselves? You fucking tell me. Why the fuck would the government do that?
Why the
There
fuck
has
would the
been
government
multiple tests
invade
done.
Iraq that has a great oil source? I don't know.
Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
there's so much proof that that shit cannot melt with the radiant heat off a fucking jet. Even if the jet was pointed at it.
So can we agree that innocent people are suffering from, like say, from these big?
Yeah,
com-
from
No,
the
it's not.
thing-
It's not that. It's
From
just
the
that there's so
political
many of
stunts
us.
that the
There's-
media tries to use against us. Yeah, people
There's
fucking
so many.
suffer
There's so
from
many
shit.
people on this earth that they don't give a fuck if we
Yeah,
lose a
'cause-
couple thousand.
yeah. It's like they say, man.
Like that chick
Goes back to
who
population
that
control.
chick whose boyfriend got shot and killed on camera.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe the guy was shot and killed on camera.
Or she could just been making that shit up.
Maybe the guy shot him and said, "Bitch, turn your camera on. It's time."
Okay, to simplify it. Okay, to simplify it, because we kind of do jump around. Okay,
This is
so
media too.
we think that the shootings from the Dallas and shit was part of this bigger problem, which is like a cover up.
Considering
Well, I'm
that the
saying that
cops-
was my theory.
Okay.
Considering that the cops were
Because of the
shooting
fact that that's
all
the
over
worst
the
thing
place,
that's happened so
it was
far
a sniper.
within the last week.
So would you say that the guy who shot the black guy who shot the cops was part of this group
And the media
that was
says
creating
that the
something,
guys.
or was it?
I
not?
don't, because with me it's not more of a conspiracy thing. Like I understand what happened and it was gonna like for me it was bound to happen. Like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It was gonna happen eventually.
And you
And
knew
this
that
guy
already
had-
based off of Florida.
He had the tactical advantage. He knew exactly what the fuck he was doing. He was a beast and he was gonna fucking take out a few cops.
Supposedly his motive
That was
was
him.
he wanted to kill white people. Would you really be so blatantly as to be like, yeah, I wanted to kill white people. Like that's my intention here. Full on riot, kill white people. Nah, like
I can
nobody's
see that
gonna-
That
happening.
wasn't his
fool.
statement,
I mean,
though.
No,
His
that's
statement-
what the media says though.
No,
That's what I'm saying. Like
but
they
what,
push
what
that
I
shit
heard
out.
from the media
His
was,
statement was,
go ahead, Nate. He knows it word for word.
Yeah, no,
I
we're ready
want
to
to
go.
I wanted to
Alright.
kill white people.
kill white people, especially white cops.
So that's a motive.
Yeah,
Then-
I mean, I believe it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, It might not. He might have not done that. He might have been on a part of a bigger plan. But it's all about.
I mean, do people still? Are people really like that?
Yeah.
At the KKK
Well,
rallies, the guys that were stabbed weren't even shot.
That's the problem, fool. It's not a racism, fool. To the point where like you do have these racist groups, and yeah, you might have these individuals in these racist groups that are here there for a higher learn or like a reason and shit.
Okay, so the
You know, something like big, you know, like
the influence
conspiracy
that
and
had
shit.
on the. Okay, imagine you're a white cop. You're American. 5 of your compadres just died over there in fucking Dallas. What the fuck is it gonna make you do?
It's gonna make you retaliate. Dude, that's the whole thing that I've been saying.
And that's
You can't just go from you attacking a group and expect the group not to retaliate. You can't do that.
And that's for the. I mean, I'm pretty sure the government knows that shit now, and it's a big. I'm pretty sure that shit is
Taking
a
advantage.
fucking hot topic right now, fool. In that fucking table.
It's not that. It's just that
But
it's always been their fallback.
That's what I'm saying,
If
fool.
they're
But
gonna do something crazy or something crazy is happening in the background, this prejudice
crazy.
shit, as far as Civil War and all that bullshit,
Yeah,
always
what's
comes
going
back
The
up.
white truck, who is it? Junior?
I think
That's Drew Armando, yeah.
Whose truck is, whose car's behind me?
You're that one that's
Wait,
weak.
do you think that was their?
think you let me off?
Okay, you
Yeah.
say it's their fault.
Venga.
Are you saying that they knew something like that would happen eventually?
He's not here.
it's because
They did it anyway.
Right.
Just to,
they have every reason. Look, if we want to
Well,
talk
get
about like
your truck
like
and
like
move it
like
so
he says, you know,
I
like
can
shit
get off.
happening,
To get
like
Junior Mando.
cover up and shit like that. There's a lot of shit that they could take advantage of. We have like these police shields and shit like that and whatnot. It's gonna happen. So it's bound to happen. Also, too, what the thing said. It's just a, you slap me, I'm gonna slap you back. You know what I'm saying? It's also that too. And now the government knows this shit, man. If this motherfucker did this, imagine a whole fucking a group of them. Shit, how much more we can do? It's not gonna get any pretty, fool. How many fucking KKK members, Aryan Brotherhood, people you think are police officers right now, fool? There could be a lot of them, fool. You don't think they're not gonna fucking retaliate? That definitely gives them a reason to fucking want to just kill people.
yeah, exactly.
And it goes back to what I was saying. Now that's even harder because now there's like a fucking subgroup that was thrown within the police department, and it's like you have like these fucking killer cops running in the
They're the elite. I believe that they're gonna think that they're the elite members. 5 of them just died. They have to figure out a way to keep control, and they're gonna fucking react to. For every action, there's a reaction. It's physics.
And it keeps going,
Do you
bro.
believe
It keeps going.
Within the next couple of months, there's gonna be more white cops killing more black people.
There's gonna be more. Yeah, there's gonna be more. Look, I don't want nobody to die, fool, but it ain't gonna stop there, fool.
Dude, and on top of that, as far as like the Black Lives Matter people, whatever, and that guy that shot the cop,
You know who that coach?
No. Yes.
I don't think they stop to think about the way the cops retaliate when they shoot a fucking canine deputy dog, whatever the fuck you want to call them. How do they react for you killing a dog? That's considered murder. Like you're going to jail for life at some point.
Yeah, 'cause they're like they're considered cop
Yeah.
officers. You know?
So if they go all out for a dog, what makes you think they're not gonna go all out for a human?
5 humans.
You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't see it getting any better. You know what I'm saying? Like I hope it does. The only ones that can make it better is the black people if they just kind of just fuck let it be. But they got to that point where they don't want to do that anymore.
Alright.
Am I right? Alright. Alright.
And
The thing is that black people are fed up, fool. They're fed up. They've been fed up. You know what I'm saying? They've been fed up since the longest, and they're not gonna. There's no more staying quiet. There's no more none of that shit, fool. I mean, the fucking Rodney King's riot was there. That was. I mean, you would have thought they would have fucking learned from that shit. That's LA though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude, but this is kind of like why I was arguing with Edgar. you're when people bring back like the Rodney King, the Malcolm X, the Martin Luther King, you're talking about completely different eras to what we're in. So you can't bring back the past and think it's gonna be the exact same thing
for the future.
for what we're living now and for the future.
Because every one of them is different.
Yeah.
To be honest, I enjoy listening to almost every one of y'all conversations back and forth of this.
But the thing is that, fool, they're examples, fool, you know what I'm
They're
saying?
they're examples.
Examples that people would, at the end of the day, come back to, fool. Even if, like...
But it's like, I don't want to jump off subject. It's like you, like somehow you make a mistake, and someone constantly brings it up to you almost every time, and to the point where you just like, I've heard enough. Like, fuck it, stop. So.
Right. And basically, the point that I was trying to make throughout the whole thing is,
Yeah.
let's not generalize people. That makes no fucking sense. Everybody's the same.
In other words,
Everybody's
everyone's
equal.
human.
Everybody's human. Everybody bleeds the same.
Bleeds the same. We just look different because of our own, because of the color of our skin.
I wish
That's
that,
what it is.
I wish
We're
that's,
different.
yeah, that's,
We are the same. We're
but
just
that's something
we
you
just
gotta,
think
you gotta,
differently.
that's something we gotta preach to those fucking racist white people, man, because they're the ones
It's
that
not
actually
just
think.
preaching it to the racist white people though.
It's
You gotta
just
preach it
everyone.
to the racist black people. You gotta preach it to the racist Mexican people.
Asian.
You gotta preach it to everybody.
We are the same.
but-
We just think everyone just thinks different.
Right. And another thing is, everybody fucking thinks that they have to generalize everybody.
Every life matters.
Yeah.
Every life matters.
That's basically
It's not
it.
for me. And you honestly look at me, and I say, if I'm gonna say Black Lives Matter, I'm not really saying that. I'm saying all lives matter. It don't matter what it is.
I want to first tell you guys, look, I agree with what you're saying, Antero. I agree 100% for it's just that, you know, I find that hard for people to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because,
I'm
you
not
know,
gonna say it's gonna be an
because
easy
it's true
thing.
No, it's gonna take.
Because look, we know for sure, you know, like the ideology for racism was created by the Anglo whites, which is British descended whites and shit. You know what I'm saying? Some people say Germany is like the hardcore of racism. It really is not. Because first of all, Germany was really about money. You know what I'm saying? The whole killing Jews and shit. Germans were just jealous of Jews because they were fucking more richer and more powerful, and they were stealing more of that money. So it's not really about that. The Anglo descendancy, which is the British English and shit, English descendants, they're the ones who actually created it because they cataloged that shit. The whole Caucasian, what is Caucasian? Black. People didn't even call blacks, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, you know, black, Caucasian, you know, I mean, Hispanic. Like, they created that system, that cataloging system and shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they used to call a guy black back in the way before that, you know, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying they systematically categorize it, and that's what I'm saying. When you fucking say an application, what do you put? Hispanic, right? Because you're Hispanic.
Yeah,
What the
so
fuck does that matter?
You're automatically getting cataloged.
What the fuck does that matter what you're doing? That's why it comes back to that, fool, you know what I'm saying? In order to fix this problem, fool, you need to fucking eliminate that system, fool. That system to catalog what's a race, because then you go with the whole fucking Aryan Brotherhood shit, you know, the fucking white people are superior. It really is not. You know what I'm saying? I mean, science proves that darker beings and shit, you even go as saying is black, they're just more superior when it comes to physical things, you know, doing and shit, you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean they're more superior than us, because there's a lot of things. There's, you know, there's being physically superior to strength, fucking superior in intelligence. Like, there's a lot of things you could use. I mean, you fucking, you know.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know, like, if white people really thought that, you know, like, they were superior, at the end of the day, the real superior would be brown people. And let me tell you why brown people. Because the Romans were brown. You know what I'm saying? They were the most advanced civilization that ever exists, if you want to put it that way. Who were the second more superior race? Black people. Because the Egyptians were the second most fucking powerful nation that existed in this world, which were blacks and shit.
Persians.
And then yeah, Persians are brown, you know what I'm saying? And Persians, brown again. You know what I'm saying? Turks, brown again. You know what I'm saying? Who were the last to be power? The last to be power were the British. In the 1800s, that's when they reached world domination. But if white people really want to play that card, brown people were the most superior race in the world because they dominated this planet for the longest. Followed by black, followed by them. Even the Asians were fucking more dominant. Attila the Hun. That motherfucker was crazy.
beast.
But why do they do that? I don't know, fool. It's like they're psychologically fucked up. I'm talking about the racist white people, because the good white people, they don't even think about that shit, fool.
Right.
They don't even think
All
about
right,
that
guys, we gotta wrap this up. Anybody got any last words?
I got a last word for that massacre, though. It wasn't really a massacre, first of all. It was just kind of like, it was a daily shit. But it was targeted, and it was a target towards government-based type, I guess, job. But at the same time, when that shit happens, and then we have other shits happening around us and shit, I mean, it's not something it's not something to take lightly. But at the same time, it's gonna be a thing that people are gonna be talking about forever and shit. Just like what happened with that one fucking Marine that went crazy, and he was over here in Big Bear and fucking got shot in Big Bear. Yeah, all right, that shit was crazy. That shit was, and he was talking about corruption and all types of shit. But we don't know what the fuck he was talking about, because they never told us anything about that. But due to the fact that this guy was black, people were trying to make it into a whole like, oh, this is all about a racial shit. You know what? We're all humans and shit. We are one race. We have different colored people. It's all region. Different. It's all region. I mean, if you got a place that fucking shines light all day compared to a place like fucking Iceland, Greenland, that it just shines, it's literally just snowing most of the fucking time. Mm-hmm. At that point, you're gonna get some light colored people and some, dark colored people and shit. But at the same time, it's all about race, and people try to make it into like, oh yeah, black people are fucking stupid because all they do is, they just complain about a bunch of shit because of slavery bullshit. That slavery bullshit, I can guarantee you that if the Africans wanted at the time that they were getting fucking, they were getting abducted, obviously, because supposedly they did not come over, you didn't come to a nation that was actually telling them that I will feed you and I'll do this, and as long as you work for me, I'll fucking make sure you live. Like, they didn't make the decision to come on the boat. You're telling me that everybody that got brought over here did not make a decision. You don't think that? I mean,
it was by force.
No, it wasn't by force. You know what?
They got sold.
It wasn't by force because there's no way that we could have taken out everybody in Africa. There is no way that we could have taken over.
Yeah.
There was people that volunteered to be that shit. And you know what? If that's the case, then fuck it, But, I mean, we get certain things told to us about, like, slavery and all that shit, that it was unlawful and all that bullshit, but I guarantee you that there was most likely people that were saying, fuck yeah, let's go. I want to go over there. Like, it's for free.
We also do know for that.
What I already do.
We also do know that, something too that black people need to understand too is that the first original trades where black people were selling black people to the pagans.
That's what I wanted to say.
Like that's something that needs to be
something that's happened since the Roman times.
And
it's all been done.
Slavery, back in the days, it wasn't really a racial thing because the Romans actually were the ones who actually classified it officially as a slave, to be a slave. But what people don't know, a slave was kind of like a beginner's level and shit. You know what I'm saying? People would become a slave. They go into a house. You do whatever the fuck they tell you what to do. If you grew in favor, what happens? You became freedom. You get your freedom. You get your documentation that you're free. And with that documentation, people didn't say like, oh no, he's a fucking slave. No, this person actually went from the bottom to the top. Matter of fact, a slave in Roman times, you could become, most of the big political families that were of Roman descendancy were slaves at one point. But see, that's a different type of slave from the one we know now. You know what I'm saying? So like back in the days, there was black slaves, there were white slaves. We know there was white slaves to black people, the black Egyptians. We know that for sure. So slavery wasn't really a racist thing back in the day. It was nothing about your color of your skin. But I mean, when the Africans were selling their own people to the Brits fucking took advantage of this system, learned this system and shit. That just shows too how intelligent the black people were, because they learned that shit from blacks and shit. You know what I'm saying? And they used it, and obviously they tweaked it up, and that's why we have slavery now and shit. But I think it's important for black people to know that part of their history, because a lot of that when you and I'm only saying it based off what I know and shit. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't tell this to a. I know you're black, Nate, but I know you very well, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Nate's Panamanian, bro.
He's Latino. Fuck it.
Yeah, all right.
He's
Let's
Latino.
proceed. Keep
But
going.
look, the reason why I wouldn't say this to a black person, fool, is not because I would be scared of him, but I feel like I don't have the right to tell him that, because you know what? At the end of the day, I'm not black. I'm not going through the same shit. I'm going through similar shit, but not the same shit. And that it's more of a respectful, you know what I'm saying? But I do recommend, I highly recommend black people as well as other people to know their history, because Hispanics has such a beautiful history too. You know what I'm saying? We all have the image that we're fucking farmers and all that shit. Nah, fuck that. Matter of fact, the first Hispanics in America were actually a prominent land type of people, important people. Way more important than the Anglos that were here as fucking colonial criminals, fucking rapists and shit. Most of the beginning of the 13 colonies was more of a fucking, get the bad motherfuckers from Britain and put them over here. You know what I'm saying? When you compare that type of group with the first Hispanics that came here of intelligent, fucking well, rich, of nobility type of people, that changes the game and shit. And it's kind of funny how these racist white people fucking think they're more superior than us and shit as a whole. But if Hispanics knew that history, it changes the game. If blacks knew the history and shit also too, their Egyptian descendancy history, it changes the game. If black people knew how slavery started, the particular slavery that they suffered from, that I'm pretty sure would tone down the anger level. Because at the end of the day, it was like, well, fuck, can't believe that shit.
Yeah, but when the Spaniards took over fucking the U.S. and shit, I mean, obviously they took over the North America. When they took over, I mean, they're not considered white. They're considered Spaniard. I mean, it's not. Somebody was talking about like something about how black people are ignorant and shit like that. Like, it's not just black people, man. Like, we have Mexicans that are ignorant. We have white people that are ignorant. We have a lot of ignorant ass people, and that's due to the fact that there's a lot of fucking people on this planet. So there's gonna be a lot of people that are ignorant. There's gonna be a lot of people that are smart and not ignorant and all that bullshit. It goes into the point that at some point we're all going to rebel against something, and the easiest thing to rebel against is always race, man. Like,
and that's why
That's the
it's
easiest
important for us to know our history, fool. Because look, if Nate knows about his, when we talk about his history, what is he going to talk about? I'm not saying you're Panamanian shit, but even in Panama, the black people were slaves too, fool.
talk about
You know what I'm
America, like that.
But a black person, when you talk about history, where they go? Slavery. But they had a history before that, fool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When black people find that route and shit, that Egyptian pride, fool, to know that at some point we dominated the world. If a white person comes and tell you I'm better than you, it's not as bad as you think. You kind of look at them like, nah, I don't know.
We were all Indians
I
at
would
one
probably
point.
You know what I'm saying?
like I don't
It
pay
changes-
you no fucking mind.
And that's the only way we're gonna fix this problem. Because racism only exists because we feel like shit. We feel low, fool.
So we picked the one thing that we can always fucking pick apart.
All right, guys, we got to wrap this up though. We're
Uh,
going
no
on
memories.
120 and shit. All right, Nate. Anything? Last words? Come on.
Last words other than I've heard all of this. Other than I have a record, get ready and go racing tomorrow for K1 Speed in
Dude, what
Ontario.
fucking time is it?
We after midnight.
Oh, we at midnight. All
We
right.
after midnight. So got a race tomorrow. Just looking forward to it. Eager to get back behind the wheel.
All right. My last words is fuck everybody.
Suck a dick.
Have a